He took the long way, hoping to run into her. It was a route he knew by heart, not because it was the most efficient, but because it held the possibility of seeing her. Every evening, after the office lights dimmed and the city exhaled, he'd bypass the direct path, the one that got him home 15 minutes sooner, and instead, he'd turn left. This detour added 2 extra blocks and a slight hill, but it also offered a view of the little bookstore with the green awning. That's where he first saw her. She was reading by the window, a sliver of late afternoon sun catching the gold in her hair. He was just passing by, but something made him stop. It wasn't just her beauty, but the complete world she seemed to inhabit right there on that cushioned window seat. She was so absorbed, a small smile playing on her lips, that the bustling street outside might as well have not existed. He felt like he was looking at a painting. From that day on, the bookstore became a landmark on his new commute. He never went in. He was too shy, too afraid of breaking the spell. What would he even say? "Hi, I've been walking past here every day just to see if you're rereading by the window." It sounded creepy, even to him. So he just walked. He learned her schedule, not by asking, but by observing. Tuesdays and Thursdays, she was there around 5:30 p.m. Sometimes she had a coffee, other times a small pastry on a plate next to her book. He started to notice the little things, the way she'd tuck a stray strand of hair behind her ear, the way she'd bite her lower lip when she was deep in thought. He started building stories about her in his head. Maybe she was a writer, gathering inspiration, or a student, cramming for an exam. He imagined her favorite authors, the kind of music she'd listen to, what her laugh sounded like. She became this perfectly crafted character in the novel of his daily life, a protagonist he could only admire from afar. His friends told him to just go talk to her. "What's the worst that can happen?" they'd ask. But for him, the worst that could happen was the fantasy ending. The reality might be mundane. She might not be the person he'd imagined. Or worse, she might be, and he might not be the kind of person she'd want to talk to. So the walk continued. It became a ritual, a silent pilgrimage. His day felt incomplete without it. Even on days he knew she wouldn't be there, like on a rainy Monday or a sunny Friday, he still took the long way. The route itself had become a comfort. The familiar cracks in the sidewalk, the old man who always watered his roses, the smell of fresh bread from the bakery on the corner, it was all part of the scenery of his hope. He was a silent observer, a background character in her life, and for now, that felt like enough. He was walking a path paved with what-ifs and maybes, and each step was a quiet testament to the simple, nerve-wracking, beautiful hope of a connection. One Thursday, the routine broke. He turned the corner, his eyes automatically seeking out the bookstore window, but she wasn't there. The window seat was empty. His heart sank. Just a little. It was silly, he knew. She had her own life, her own plans, but the disappointment was real. He slowed his pace, his gaze lingering on the empty spot. He was about to continue on his way when the bookstore door chimed. He glanced over, and there she was. She was walking out, a tote bag slung over her shoulder. She looked different up close. More real. The sunlight wasn't filtering her through a window pane. He could see the small freckles on her nose and the genuine warmth in her eyes as she smiled at the shopkeeper. She turned, and for a split second, her eyes met his breath caught in his throat. It was just a fleeting moment, a casual glance you give a stranger on the street. But to him, it felt like a lightning strike. She gave a polite, almost imperceptible nod and then started walking. In his direction, panic set in. His mind went blank. All the witty opening lines he'd rehearsed in the shower vanished. His feet felt glued to the pavement. She was getting closer. 10 feet. 5 feet. He could smell her perfume, something light and floral, like jasmine. This was it. The moment of truth. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. She walked right past him, and just like that, the moment was gone. He stood there, feeling foolish, his heart pounding against his ribs. A odd fight. He turned to watch her walk away, a familiar ache of regret settling in. But then, something happened. She stopped. She turned around, a hesitant look on her face. She took a few steps back towards him. "Excuse me," she said, her voice softer than he'd imagined. This is gonna sound a bit strange, but you walk by here every day, don't you? He was stunned into silence. He could only nod, his mind racing. She knew. She had noticed him. I've seen you, she continued, a slight blush rising on her cheeks. You always look so thoughtful when you pass the window. She gestured back toward the bookstore. My name's Clara. He finally found his voice. Leo, he managed to say, the name feeling foreign on his own tongue. I'm Leo. A smile spread across her face. A real, genuine smile that was 1,000 times better than the one he'd seen through the glass. Leah, she said, I was just heading for a coffee. Would you want to join me? His entire world shifted on its axis. All those walks, all those daydreams, all that silent hope. It wasn't a one-way street after all. He had been walking a long way home to find her. And it turned out, in her own quiet way, she had been watching him walk by, waiting for him to... I'd love that, he said. And for the first time, he wasn't just walking past the bookstore. He was walking with her, away from the window and into a new chapter, a real one. The long way home had finally led him exactly where he was supposed to be.